Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create this weekly planner in Excel. It includes automatic weekly dates, a custom start time, 30-minute schedule rows, daily priorities, a weekly task list, status dropdowns, task summary counts, and a today's highlight. So instead of creating a new planner from scratch every week, you only need to change the start date and the weekly layout updates automatically. I'll build this step by step from a blank spreadsheet, so you can follow along even if you're still a beginner in Excel. And before we start building, let me quickly show you how the finished version works. Here I can enter the start date for the week. When I change this date, all the 7 dates update automatically. I can also enter my preferred start time, and if I change the start time, the schedule updates from that time in 30 minutes intervals. On the left side, I have a weekly task list with a status dropdown, and when I change a task from to do to done, the task summary updates automatically. There is also a simple today highlight, so the current day is easy to spot. Now let's build it. I'm starting with a blank Excel sheet. First, I'll create the basic structure of the planner. So for that, I just color my background in green as I always do, and also make the column A as my buffer. So I just make the column width 1 for that. And then I can already start with my setup area. So this is where the user will enter the start date and the start time. Below that, I'll add a section for the top 6 weekly tasks. This is meant for the most important things you want to focus on during this week. And then I'll add a small task summary section. This will later count how many tasks are to do, in progress, done, and total. And below that, I'll add the weekly task list. This is for the flexible tasks that do not necessarily need to go into a specific time block. Now we can create the main weekly planner area. To separate it a little bit better, we'll just make the column width of column D1 again, and then the column width of column E25, so that we have a bit more space to type our tasks and time blockers. Now we can make this to a header. So for that, I merged the two first rows, so it kind of fits a little bit better. And then I will need a space for my top 3 tasks for that day. So the first row will also be a header. And for the headers, I regularly use just white font color and bold. And I will only have top 3 priorities, so I will need to add 3 rows. And for them, I use the white background color, so the other way around. And let's add some borders. I just use the same color as my header color and make the outline borders a bit bolder. So it's also nice to basically just center everything. And now I kind of forgot that we do need times, right? So I will just add a new column in between. And the first time will just basically equal to the time that it is our starting time that we specify in the beginning. And now, depending on if you want to have hourly breaks, 30 minutes breaks, 15 minutes breaks, right? Because sometimes we have different schedules. What we do, we use equals to the row before and then plus time function. Time function lets us add hours, minutes, or even seconds. So you can adjust the whole time intervals according to your schedule. So I will just be using 30 minutes intervals, but whatever works for you. You might use an hour, you might use 15 minutes or anything else. And then we just need to extend it. So in my case, because I have 30 minutes intervals, I kind of know that I need to extend it to the row 106. And as you can see, 107 is already 7 a.m. This is where I started, so I don't need it. And now we can just format the whole table, right? So in my case, I will just add white background color and my regular green borders. So for the date, we can just reuse our start date. So equals to the cell where we enter our start date. And for the week days, we can basically do the same, just use a different formatting. So we go here to formatting and then more and then custom, and we can just type in 4Ds, but this will only work if you have an English layout both in Excel or and on your computer. It will probably not work with other countries, so you'll have to look it up if you are using different language. So then the next column will be with Swan again, and then I can just copy paste it because I do not want to repeat the whole formatting again. So what will I need to change is obviously, because the formula is kind of updated, I now want to have this cell F4 plus 1 day. And to make my life easier, I will just say that, okay, this one will be just equals to the cell H4. Now I can just copy paste this exact day 5 times and everything just updates, all the formulas, everything. And because we also know that we have 106 rows now, I can just add, just for the symmetry, the exact same amount of lines to my weekly task list, but hopefully you will not have this many weekly tasks. This might be critical. Let's just add some borders to the whole summary part of my table, and also let's make the start date and start time kind of header style and make it a green and white font color. So now what is missing is, first of all, the dropdowns and the task summary and the color formatting. The dropdowns is the easiest part. You just highlight the table where you want to have them and then go to data, data validation, again, data validation, and then just pick list. And you can just pick from the table because we have already entered the values. So you don't even need to type them again. So now you can see everything works, and we can add our task summary. For that, we are using our count if formula. So the first thing is we need to select or type in the range, which is basically the same color again. And then comma, and we need to specify the value that we will be counting. So you can either select the cell or you can just type it in. And we do need to set the range because we would want to extend this formula also for in progress and done. And if we don't add the $sign, then it will just move by 1 each time and will not calculate everything properly. And for the total, we can just add 3 values, right? We do not need to do, like, obviously you can do count A or sum or anything like this, but you can just add 3 values. And now the only thing is missing is the color formatting. So first thing that I want to do is to color format every other row here. Obviously, you might not need it, but I'll just show you how to do it. So for that, I'm a bit lucky because we can notice that every other row that has 30 minutes in them is even, which is why I can just use is even column. So I go to conditional formatting, new rule, and then use a formula equals to is even, and what I want to check is the row that I'm in, even or not. And if it is, I want to gray it out a bit so then the hours are more visible. You can use any other color. You can skip it ahead if you only have hour intervals, but this is how I would do it. We also want to format our today. We use new rule for that. And we just want to check if the day that we are having is today or not. So quite simple. We just check if F2 is today or not, because we are basically just using the date everywhere. We just formatted it differently. So this might not work if you are using any other formula to figure it out which weekday it is. But for us, because it's still a date, we can just check if it's today or not. And I just want to maybe make it the other way around, so the green color font and the white fill color. So you can see, because today is the 15th of July, this is now Wednesday, the 15th of July. I kind of think that it will look a bit better with the borders. So I would need to add the borders to every single day now, because I forgot to do it before, but this is up to you. It's just formatting. And if I press Ctrl Y and select some field, this is basically repeats the last thing that I've done. So if I do it 6 times now, just highlight and Ctrl Y, it just reapplies my formatting. So if I were to change the date to, let's say, yesterday, I can see that everything updates and the borders stay the same. I can also show you that if we were to change the starting time to 6 a.m., then obviously all the hours also update automatically. And the only thing that is missing is the graying out of tasks. So let's say to do is this video, and then I will just highlight my whole table this time and add the new rule, which will also be quite easy. Our table starts at the row B22. So I would need to check if the value in the row B equals to done or not. So this is really important that you will add the $sign before B, because we highlighted the whole table, so it will move and we'll be searching for the value done in C, which we do not want. That's why we need a $sign before B. And I want it to have like a slight grayish color, but nothing really deep. I like the F2, F2, F2. And then maybe the font also gray and through. Now you can see that if I were to change from to do to done, the whole row is a bit grayed out. Maybe you can't see it that well on the laptop, so maybe you would want to add a bit grayer background color, but this is how it works. That's it for this tutorial. You can build this weekly planner step by step with me, or if you want the finished template, I'll leave the link in the description. However, it is important to note that I always lock the formulas so that you won't delete by accident any hours or dates or whatever. The problem is with this that you won't be able to merge the cells again. So if you have my Etsy template version and want to use the merge cells, just go to review and press Unprotect Sheet, and then you will be able to merge cells. Or if you lock it yourself, just be aware of that. You can use it in Excel or Google Sheets to plan your week. You can just upload it to the Google Sheets and everything will update automatically. This does not have any formulas that do not work in Google Sheets. And you can use it to plan your week, organize your tasks, and create a simple time blocking schedule. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!